It's cold, it's hot, it's rainy, it's sunny. It's that time of year in this Pacific Northwest garden. Welcome to PDX Garden Home, where I'm coming to you from my driveway garden. Today, we're going to revisit the cherry tree garden and see what's available to harvest and what may need to be adjusted. Then we're going to have an epic potting session at the bench, potting up the peppers and eggplants that have been patiently waiting for some extra room. We'll get back out to the cherry tree, harvest some veggies, and finally we'll end with pulling some things that just aren't working. So come along, we have a lot to do this spring day. Let's garden. I have a lot of stuff going on here in the cherry tree garden. Throughout the garden, over there, and then in small amounts over there, we've got fava beans, and then I've got a bunch of red leaf lettuce here, some chard, some kale. This is a red cabbage. It overwintered from last year in a pot, so it might just flower on me and not actually turn into a cabbage, but we'll see. I've got French breakfast radishes sprinkled throughout here. I've got some Chinese broccoli, got a couple of kind of oddballs sitting here, but mostly back there. It is doing really well. This Chinese broccoli all the way back here is something that should be ready to harvest next week. Here is the rhubarb that was here before I even put this wall in. It had been here for a while, and so I'm gonna have to keep that trimmed back because it's gonna overtake the bed if I don't. As I come in here, back along here, you may remember from prior videos, or you may have seen in prior videos that these are the peas. I need to come along here and put some more string up as they're getting taller here. As I come over here, this I need to just pull out this and replace. This is a Copenhagen cabbage that I had overwintered in a pot and then placed out here, and that was just too much stress for it apparently, so it just bolted. It's not carrying on. I also have some Napa cabbage bolting here, so I'll want to replace those with something else, pull those out and replace those. I do have a few radishes in here that are ready, so I want to come along and harvest those. And then over here, we've got the spinach. I mean, you could harvest them at this size, but I want to get more out of them, so I'm going to wait and harvest them. But you can see some big radishes in there that are definitely ready. Those are some of the earliest ones that were planted. And while I'm here, I'm actually now seeing that these fava beans, some of them are starting to flower. They have these white and black flowers there. Got another bolting cabbage or something like that over here. So I'll come replace that. But there's a nice kale there that is growing up nicely. So all in all, we've got some good stuff going on. We've got room to put some more things in, it looks like, around that side of the cherry tree bed there. So I might throw some more stuff there. And then of course, on the wall here, we've got a lot of the starts that are just waiting. They're on hold. They're waiting to get into the ground somewhere. So that is the cherry tree garden. All right, well today I am potting up some more peppers and maybe some eggplants, depending on how much time we have here. The peppers and eggplants that I'm potting up, these are actually from the same batch that I potted up weeks ago. So I have a group here of things that I just left in their 6 cell trays, these 1-inch trays, and now we're potting them up. So we'll see kind of what's that mean in terms of their root development and how they go forward. But experience tells me they'll probably be just fine. It's not the ideal growth. Maybe I may have set the growth back a little bit by not giving them enough space to grow at this point, and we're getting them out hopefully just in time. But I think that I think it'll work out, at least for these really strong peppers. The eggplants continue to be question, although some of that disease like thing that I was talking about previously seems to have cleared up, gone away or something. I don't see as much of it on here, but these are long purple eggplants, Asian variety of long purple eggplants. I'll go ahead and start with those since I've got that cell right there. And the way I'm going to do this today is make room for the cell to just plop into the middle of these 4-inch containers here with my little gadget here. And also, it's fun at this point for context because it's after mid-April here, and these were planted from seed on February 9th. Let's see what we have here. Now this looks like a pretty healthy plant at the top. The root development, I don't really like how, yeah, there doesn't seem to be very strong root development there. So hopefully once we get it in here, we'll be able to improve that. Now, these eggplants I don't really believe are going to root along the stem much. They're not like tomatoes, but to the extent that I may bury the stem a little bit, it might be I'm doing it for stability purposes to give it some anchoring in there. I don't think it'll hurt it to have a little bit of the stem buried, but I'm not doing it, in case you're wondering, I'm not doing it on purpose to try to encourage additional root growth or anything like that. I have 2 in 1 here. Oh, yeah, 2. I was gonna say, is that 3 in 1? But no, this is one plant that started to branch a little bit there. And these guys are pretty dry there, so I'm getting them just in time. If I had not been doing this today, then it would be time to water them. Now in my old garden, which I've talked about in other videos, I used to grow eggplants in the greenhouse, and I got some production that way. Last year I grew some eggplants outside, and just outside here. I mean, no greenhouse or any kind of protection. And I did get a little bit of production, but not a lot. I also, though, were planting them in pots that might be too small, so that might be part of the reason I didn't get a lot of production. But yeah, I just think in our climate, it's a question mark as to whether you're going to get a lot of production out of eggplants, because they really like the heat. Between eggplants, peppers, and tomatoes, my observation is that eggplants like the heat the most. You can get some tomatoes and some peppers producing without a ton of heat, but eggplants, you need that heat to get them to produce. It's what I've experienced. Okay, so I ended up with 6 of those there. Okay, what do I have next here? May as well just see if I can knock out all the eggplants, since that's where I'm starting. So this is the Rosa botanica eggplant. Rosa bianca eggplant, I should say. So it produces a round eggplant. I like the look of it. There we go. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, what's next? Same thing, another Rosa botanica. I'm just gonna kill these leaves that are looking sketchy. Give it a clean start there. Boom. Okay. I'm dumping this into compost over here. Okay, this is my last eggplant tray, and it's another Rosa bianca. Now this one looks kind of yucky, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. We don't need it. Oh man, all tangled up. There we go. I was talking earlier about how I used to grow eggplants in my greenhouse, and yeah, this is more eggplants than I'll probably be able to fit anywhere. It really depends on whether I get the retaining wall, the garden wall done. If I can get the garden wall done in time for these summer crops to go in the ground, then I'll have more space that I can put out these summer crops. And my incentive for or my motivation for trying to grow as many crops as I can is that I'm not concerned about feeding my family, because my family's only going to eat so many veggies between my wife and my 3-year-old and myself, and I'm sure I can grow all I need for that. But I'd really like to get back to donating veggies. I found a lot of purpose in that. It gave me one more, besides talking to you all here on YouTube, that gave me one more reason or one more purpose behind what I was doing with some of my gardening. was being able to go to the food bank once a week and donate the veggies. Got a lot of personal satisfaction out of that. So I'm hoping I can get back to doing something like that. I used to do 20 to 30 pounds of veggies a week or so during the heart of the growing season here, those summer months. And so be curious whether when this place is kind of properly set up, I've got my retaining wall, I've got all my beds and everything set up for as best as I can, it'll be curious whether I could actually get to that volume, because that's not like a high volume by, say, market garden standards. And these, by the way, that I'm planting while I'm talking are some Anaheim peppers. Anyway, what I was doing, the 20 to 30 pounds, was not really that high of a volume, and I certainly could have done the amount of space that I had at the other garden should have allowed me to do a lot more, but I was still learning on I was kind of gardening lazily and just taking up space without being very efficient about it, because I had a lot of space and I was learning how to be more productive was the goal over time. But now it's all about how I can optimize for production and beauty. That's the other thing too, is that I'm not a market garden, and so while I enjoy donating it, I also want the garden to be beautiful, at least by my standard. I don't know if everyone would agree that it's a beautiful space, but once it's kind of working and everything, I'd like it to be something that I enjoy aesthetically. Fortunately for that point, I think that vegetables in the garden look beautiful, so it's not like I feel like I have to grow flowers everywhere in order for a garden to look beautiful. But I like both. I like some flowers, and beyond the aesthetics, one of the things that I learned in the old garden was that I got way better, got a lot more visits from the pollinators when I had a lot of flowers in the garden. So it actually works well together to have a lot of flowers in your veggie garden. I've got a whole tray here, so I'm gonna pause on this activity for now. Got some long purple eggplants, Rosa Bianca eggplants, and Anaheim peppers there. Okay, well, I ran out of my black 4.5-inch pots, so I've got these red plastic cups. These are actually from Costco. I have some that were from maybe like 8 years ago, and some that are from at least 4 years ago, and I just keep reusing them. So very super cost effective. I mean, it was super cost effective just to buy them in the first place. If I just used new ones every year, it'd be super cost effective, but it wouldn't be very labor effective, because when I use those cups, I poke a hole in the bottom, so I have to go through and poke a hole in each one in the bottom, and that takes some time. And so these already have the hole poked in the bottom or whatever, so it's easier for me to just reuse them. It saves that labor step of poking the hole. And you know, certainly it doesn't sound like a lot of time to poke a hole in the bottom of the cups, but if you're doing this at scale with, you know, a couple hundred of these cups, which I have in the past, you know, maybe I've done like 1,000 of these cups, poking a hole in the bottom of 1,000 cups starts to be more labor intensive. And so once you've done it once, you don't want to keep doing it over and over if you don't have to. They do wear out. I do have to throw at this point. This year I'm finding that there are some that are very weak and they're cracking from the top here and stuff, so I'll throw them out. But I've got so many. Because I grew, when I was growing the big garden, I would grow a lot more starts. I've got more than I'm going to use here in this smaller driveway garden at this point right now. I think these are more Anaheims, but they're right next to the jalapenos, and I can't tell the difference with peppers at this stage. So I'm not going to worry about it. It'll be obvious once they're potted. Once they are growing the pepper, I'll know. Similar to what I said about the eggplants, I'm not, if you see me bury some of the stem, it's not because I'm trying to grow roots along the stem. These aren't like tomatoes. I don't expect that. The only reason I would bury part of the stem is to give it a little more of a support here. And I found that it doesn't hurt anything to do that. I see some varying advice online about that, in terms of some people or some folks will say, well, if you're burying something by the stem, you run the risk of rotting the plant. Yeah, maybe so. I haven't had that issue. All right, now I'm into the jalapenos for sure. Like I said, I'm not sure these could have been jalapenos or they could have been Anaheims, but now I'm into what I know are jalapenos for sure. And yeah, jalapenos for me are pretty vigorous. They grow pretty well. I usually get good production out of them. I haven't gotten into canning or anything that requires kind of figuring out the pressure and all that kind of stuff. So I'll make a jalapeno kind of sauce that is designed to be refrigerated. So just kind of cut up the jalapenos and put jalapenos and then some garlic from the garden and vinegar and maybe a little bit of sugar or stevia or something, your choice there, and some salt, and let it mature a little bit in the fridge to let the flavors congeal. Well, actually, before I actually put it in the jar that goes in the fridge, I do a soft boil, not quite a boil, but just I get the liquids all heated up and then put the peppers in them, and I just want them to get a little bit heated there. I don't want them to get so heated that they're kind of turning color. So, but anyway, I can't articulate the whole process well here, but my point wasn't to provide a complete recipe on pepper sauce, but rather than just let you know that's what I'm doing with it. There's better recipes than anything I do, I'm sure, and whatever I do, I found online, and sometimes I forget what I'm doing before I go do it, so I just find it again online. And I've grown habaneros in the past, but I don't like eating habaneros. I don't, kind of a jalapeno, the spice that you might get out of a shishito or a padron pepper, that's pretty much it for me in terms of kind of that kind of heat coming off a pepper. I'll eat hotter peppers in a sauce where I can sprinkle a little bit of the sauce on something. I might do it also with like chili flakes or something, but like in terms of like eating the pepper, I don't have any desire to eat like a hot habanero, or then you get into the hotter stuff like the things that people are like excited to grow now, like a ghost pepper, or they've got even hotter stuff now, I think, too. But other than just for the intrigue of growing those and seeing how they grow, which is why I've done some habaneros in the past, I have no desire to eat those. Okay, another tray down. I still got at least 3, maybe 4 good peppers in this tray, and then some more in that tray. So I've got more work to do here. Okay, well, I've got the Nicotiana here, which is grown for a flower. It's in the tobacco family, but it's being grown for a decorative flower here. And yeah, I'm putting it into the same red solo cups because that's what I have there. I'm growing it on the same timeline that I'm using for my peppers, essentially. So these were planted back in February from seed, and now I'm potting them up. These first 2 are pretty delicate in terms of the roots, not a very strong cell structure there, root structure I should say, is what I mean. This one's a little more solid there, ready to go in. I'm just gonna kill off this baby one to get it out of the way. Oh no, I killed that one. Oh, wow. That is super fragile. Wasn't expecting that. Given how fragile these are, I guess we'll see how well they've transplanted. I don't remember if I grew these before, but I don't remember if I potted them up or if I went straight from these cell trays to the outdoors in terms of how I started them off. Throw that in there. And there we go. Off to the races. I'm gonna take these out, save them for later. I want to fill this tray just to save space on my racks, but I don't have time today. We're getting towards the evening here. So I am going to put this under the racks as is and then put more stuff in this tray later. But for now, that's it for all. That is all the Nicotiana. I don't have any others of those, so that's all there is for that.
Sun's barely up, mug on the step, steam curling boots in the mud, breath-making clouds in the morning, row after row. Seeds like secrets in my pocket, push them down slow, whisper a hope in each socket. Hands in the dirt, dreams under fingernails, sweat on my shirt, love in the details. Someday this patch of ground will feed more than just me. I'm growing a garden big enough for family. Rain in the drum, kids in the doorway laughing, wind starts to hum. We keep on weeding and grafting, save all the jars, line them up like little sunsets, planning so far for the plates we haven't set yet. Hands in the dirt, dreams under fingernails, sweat on my shirt, love in the details. Someday this patch of ground will feed more than just me. I'm growing a garden big enough for family. Someday they'll come up the drive, car doors slam, tired eyes. I'll say, sit down, you made it fine. Taste what we made with our time. Neighbors lean over the fence, stories and berries traded. All of this slow, patient work suddenly celebrated. Oh, hands in the dirt, dreams under fingernails, sweat on my shirt, love in the details. Pull up a chair, pass it around. This is how we stay free. We're growing a garden big enough for community.
sour. So I've got several things in this cherry tree bed that have either bolted or otherwise just aren't working. And now I'm gonna go and pull them out and replace them with some of what we have here to give that spot a second try. There may be some just empty spots that I can throw some things in while I'm here as well. So I'm gonna be doing both as I kind of work my way around this bed here. I'm gonna try some more Napa cabbage, although it seems like almost everyone that I put out here is bolting, but I'm gonna try a few more, or try a couple more at least here. See if we can get it to go. It's my fertilizer. I wanted to find where I put the romaine lettuce. I had it sitting somewhere else. Bolted bok choy here. Let me throw a broccoli over there. Walla Walla onions. Planting these pretty dang close to each other. I'm just getting impatient. Okay, I think that's all I can jam in there. I mean, I could jam in more, but if this stuff fills out, it'll be already over crammed as is. So I'm going to take the conservative route and say, and I laugh. I mean, this is already probably not conservative, but I'm going to take a more conservative route than trying to jam more in there and say that's it. That's all I can get in there right now. Okay, well, I've got a similar task here that I did with the cherry tree, and that is I've already pulled out a lot of lettuces here. Cut out a lot of lettuces, I should say. I left the roots in the ground. And now I want to put some more stuff in. I want to put my bunching onions, my scallions in here. That'll make them easy. There's not that many of them anyway, so it makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and pull these kind of damaged and abused bok choy and go ahead and replace it. I've got more bok choy here, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace it right now. Give myself a second chance at getting something cool here. So I'll start with that. I'll try to make the playing field clean and then the canvas clean and then start painting again here. And this stock tank over here I haven't filled up yet, so I've just been throwing my compost in there. And then I'll fill it up with more potting soil and there's little clumps of clay in here from my retaining wall project spilling over. I'm just going to go through and create some holes for my onions. I'll put my onions in the front and then I'll put the bok choys more in the back. You know what I forgot to do though is I forgot to bring my fertilizer down here. And one of the things that's fun about having the fertilizer or using the fertilizer is it helps me mark my planting holes. So I can make the planting holes, mark them, and then they're easy for me to see when I want to go back and put the plugs in them. Gonna pause my hole digging and go ahead and put my plugs in there to see where I'm at in terms of count. Now what I'm going to do, we'll see if the spacing works right or not, but I'm going to plant the bok choy along the back and then I'll put the arugula in between if there's room. Okay, well, this doesn't look crowded right now, but it's actually fairly close spacing, so I think that it will fill out, and if it all came to fruition and all did well, it would be overly crowded. But I think that's one of the, to me, the benefits of actually planting closer than you might think, because the reality is, at least in my garden, not everything does work out. I was about to say most things don't work out, but that's not true. I do get a reasonable amount of success, but for sure, not all of this is gonna survive and do well. Some of it is gonna be weird, some of it's gonna bolt, some of it's gonna get attacked by slugs or caterpillars before I notice and have too many holes in it. And so as I trim or get rid of the stuff that isn't doing well, it's going to leave more space for the stuff that is well. So the case I'm making is you could plant closer with the idea that as the things mature, you're probably going to cull a bunch of stuff, and that's going to leave you more space for the stuff that did well. Just a thought, maybe we'll see how it works out in this bed. It'd be neat if I proved myself wrong by having everything in here turn out really well, but it doesn't seem likely. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for gardening with me, and I'll see you in the next video.